Bucs grown up, Baker Mayfield, NFL wide review revealed. Bucs grown up, Baker Mayfield, NFL wide review revealed, originally appeared on Athlon Sports. The list of people jumping on the Baker Mayfield bandwagon continues to grow, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback enjoying the best two-year spell of his career. Entering the 2025 season, Mayfield and the Buccaneers have genuine Super Bowl intentions, something we haven't seen in his career up until now. For Mayfield, he has had his skeptics all throughout his career, and even last season, en route to throwing for 4,500 yards and 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, some think he is about to fall off the proverbial cliff. But NFL analyst Greg Cosell, when speaking on the Ross Tucker podcast, has given Baker his flowers. Baker Mayfield, around the league, is highly, highly respected, Cosell said. He is a really good thrower of the football, and I'm not sure people think about that with Baker Mayfield, but he is a really, really good thrower of the football. He's grown up. He's aggressive. So every once in a while, he'll make a play that's viewed as reckless, but he's become a very good quarterback. And I think it's important to acknowledge that. Armed with potentially the best group of weapons of his career in Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, Emeka Egbuka, Cade Otton, and running backs Bucky Irving and Rachiad White, Mayfield has pressure to get it done in 2025. We believe the Buccaneers are favorites for the NFC South. Again, but the franchise is now at a stage of its development where simply winning the division isn't enough. They want playoff wins now. After losing to Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders at home in the playoffs last year, Tampa Bay will no doubt be looking at going deeper in the postseason in 2025, with a grown-up Mayfield leading the charge. Once a fiery Heisman winner with a chip on his shoulder and a headband to match, Baker Mayfield has traveled a long and winding road through the NFL, from Cleveland's long-awaited savior to Carolina's odd fit to the Rams' unlikely late-season hero. But in Tampa Bay, something unexpected happened. Baker Mayfield grew up, and in doing so, he reshaped how the NFL sees him and how he sees himself. The rebirth in pewter and red when Mayfield signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2023, you expected him to last more than a season. The team had just said goodbye to Tom Brady, the ultimate adult in the room, and in came Mayfield, long known for his brash confidence and off-scrim energy. It felt like a placeholder move. But Mayfield didn't treat it that way. He arrived in Tampa with something he hadn't brought with him before: humility. Gone were the endless sound bites and swagger for show. In its place was something much more dangerous: focus. He learned the playbook, earned the trust of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and most importantly, took command of a locker room that had just lost the GOAT. What emerged wasn't a diluted version of Mayfield, it was a refined one. He still had the passion, the gutsy throws, and the occasional sideline fire, but they were now channeled, more tool than tantrum. Leading with lessons, not ego, NFL insiders began to notice something different. Coaches around the league had always respected Mayfield's toughness, but now they were talking about his leadership. Defensive players commented on how he'd greet them first thing in the morning, ask questions about film, and own his mistakes. He's not trying to prove he's the guy anymore, one AFC scout said. He knows he is. And that quiet confidence, that's what separates the grown-ups in this league. In post-game interviews, Mayfield started talking about rhythm, timing, and protections more than revenge or proving doubters wrong. He praised offensive coordinator Dave Canales, praised his O-line, and rarely, if ever, threw teammates under the bus, something younger Baker might have done in frustration. What Mayfield understood, perhaps more deeply than any team ever expected, was that being an NFL quarterback isn't about being the loudest in the room. It's about being the most dependable. A wider NFL mirror across the league, quarterbacks were crumbling under pressure. Justin Fields couldn't find rhythm in Chicago. Zach Wilson still looked lost in New York. Even veterans like Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray were struggling to balance locker room expectations with on-field performance. And yet, here was Baker Mayfield. Once an NFL punchline, steadying the Bucs and making the playoffs. He wasn't just surviving, he was elevating. You don't have to be perfect, said Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles. You just have to be a grown man about your work. Baker's done that since day one. That shift was not lost on NFL execs. The term bridge quarterback had followed Mayfield like a bad tattoo. But now, GMs were whispering something different in back hallways and scouting meetings. Is he a franchise guy again? From swagger to substance, It's not that Mayfield abandoned his signature grit. In fact, it was very much alive in his 300-yard, three-touchdown playoff win over the Eagles, where he dodged defenders and fired lasers with the kind of reckless artistry that once made Cleveland fall in love. But now, those moments came with an underlying discipline, a play designed, read, and executed, rather than pure improvisation. He also started mentoring younger players, sharing lessons he learned from being written off, traded, and doubted. I used to think I had to fight everyone, Mayfield admitted in an off-season interview. Now I know I just need to fight for the guys in my locker room. That's enough. That sentiment landed. His teammates rallied around him. The city of Tampa, skeptical at first, began to believe in him not just as a quarterback, but as a grown man who could lead them into the next era. Legacy. Rewritten. Mayfield's journey echoes that of NFL QBs who found themselves on second, third, even fourth chances, players like Rich Gannon, Jim Plunkett, or even Ryan Tannehill. Was able to recover, had success at Stanford, had success at Del Mar, became a billionaire, and then an author. Timeless. Jim Clark. Legacy. Rewritten. Made up. Lived and loved. Until who all shed early chaos to become reliable presences in later chapters. But Mayfield's arc feels different. Perhaps because we all saw him burn bright so early and flame out just as fast. His maturity transformation was public, visible, and at times painful. But now, his NFL-wide reputation has shifted from volatile to valuable. His 2024 Pro Bowl nod wasn't just about numbers. It was a nod to the evolution, to the work, to the growth, the road ahead. As the Bucs prepare for the 2025 season, there's little doubt who their leader is. Baker Mayfield is no longer a temp, a reclamation project, or a cautionary tale. He's a cornerstone. The rest of the league is watching. In a cornerback star of NFL, Mayfield's transformation from combustible to composed may just be the new blueprint for QB resurrections. Not every path to greatness is straight. Some are paved with fire, bruised egos, and second chances. Baker Mayfield's journey reminds us all that growth is not linear, but it is possible. And for the first time in a long time, he doesn't have to tell us that. He's showing it.